Hey guys, just wanted to make a quick video. It seems that every time I look on YouTube or the likes of Facebook Marketplace, something like that, everybody on the show seems to be making planter boxes, and there's that much competition nowadays. Like they're selling them for peanuts. So I just thought I'd get something going that's a little bit different, and maybe you can replace these with what I'm about to show you. Anyway, watch the video. Hope you enjoy it. And if nothing else, please leave a like, maybe subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Just a couple of bits of scrap wood and a little plant pot that I've found. I'm just going to basically get the measurements I need to make these little square boxes. So I'm going to put that there with a little switch of space there. That one there. And then I measure that off. Tape measure. And that would be 7 3/4. Oh, sorry, 6 3/4. Okay guys, for those who've seen any of my videos before, you'll know that what I'm doing here is I'm actually straightening the edges on the wood. This is, if you haven't got a jointer, I mean I've got a jointer but I still prefer to use this method. Make sure both ends of the wood are touching the level, and they must slide through together. If the wood's rocking on the level, that means it's touching in the middle and not on the ends, so flip it over. You'll see me trying that out in a minute. But this will give you parallel sides and straight edges. Good way to do it. At this point we should have a nice couple of straight edges and parallel sides. Now the only reason I'm running it through the jointer here guys is because the boards I'm using, or these pieces of wood I'm using, they've got a slight bevel in them. So I want to get the bottom a little bit flatter. But otherwise you don't need to do this. Okay guys, what we're doing here is we're cutting 16 pieces out for the sides of the boxes. Now the width of the wood here that I'm using is actually 4 3/4 inches wide, so I'm keeping that and I'm cutting it to lengths of 6.5 inches. So it should be 6.5 inches by 4 3/4 inches, 16 pieces. Here we're just throwing a 45 angle on all the corners, so each side, do one side, flip it over to the other side, and do that on all 16 pieces. Here we're just going to glue up the sides to each other so that we form the box shape. If you haven't done it before, it's easy to do. You just line the edges up with each other on a piece of tape and then fold them all together. If you have done it before, you know what to do. Okay, once the glue is dry, we give it a sand off, sanding off all the sides and the corners. I started off with 120 here, I think, and I ended up going down to, I think it was 80, just to get a bit of the glue off. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm just putting a round over on all the corners. I'll do this on all 4 boxes. Just gives it a nicer finish, and we'll also give it a bit more of a sand, which you'll see in a minute. I kind of have a little technique going here where I just kind of go round the corners like that. I find if I do it like that, the way you're watching me do it, it seems to keep it nice and smooth and even all the way down the joint. Right, I'm just tracing around the bottom here, guys, for the bases. If you want to cut the bases separately, you know, you should be able to cut them, and the bases should be 6.5 inches by 6.5 inches, which is what the square box is going to be. But I kind of just wanted to do it this way and cut them out and kind of like just round them off. You'll see what I mean. You have to bear in mind that sometimes I'm not a professional DIY, I just play about in the garage, and sometimes I'm just doing things kind of like playing it by ear as I'm going along kind of thing, and that's why I do things a little bit differently now and again. If you do it this way, just mark up the base number like 1 and match it with the box 2 so you don't get it mixed up. Here I'm just trimming down where I've marked off and cutting the actual square pieces out themselves. making these bases are some scrap wood that I had. I had this wood, but I glued and made this thing because I was going to make clocks with them. But I decided to use it for these bases instead. Just going to glue the bases up now, guys. So you've already numbered the base and you've numbered the box, so match them up. Bit of glue around the bottom, stick them on and brad nail them as well. That's what I'm doing here. When you're using the brad nailer on these boxes, guys, just be careful. You keep your fingers out the way because the boxes are so thin. It's pretty easy for the brad nail to shoot out the side, and if your finger's there, you're going to get nailed to the box. So just be careful. I'm just using a damp cloth here, guys, to wipe away the excess glue. I'm not varnishing. And here we're going to just round off the bottom. This is kind of why I wanted to draw around the bottom instead of cutting them to 6.5 inches, because I wasn't sure how it would work out, so I just done it this way and put the round over on after the glue had dried and that. Time for another quick sand, and then we're going to varnish them all up. Okay, what we're going to do here is we're going to do the lengths for the project. We're going to need 8 lengths, and they're going to be 40 inches by 2.5 inches. So it's 40 inches long, 2.5 inches wide. And we're going to go through the same procedure in a minute. We'll just trim these down to size, and we're going to get straight edges by using the level again. Here I'm just making sure that I've got the right side up against the level, because I felt like it was wobbling a little bit, so I just wanted to make sure it wasn't the middle that was touching, but it was the two ends. Okay, I have measured 2.5 inches in here, guys, but I just forgot to turn the camera on. Now, on these next couple of cuts, I want to show you these because this wood has still got a little bit of a bevel in it, and see, at the point we're coming to now, it becomes hard to push through the saw. Now, if it does that when you're doing these things, don't do what I'm doing now. I am forcing that through with quite a bit of pressure. Don't do that. That is so dangerous what I've done there. I just wasn't thinking at the time. So I'll show you how to deal with that on the next piece that I cut. Okay, straight away it starts to get difficult to cut this piece, so I flipped it over because I'm still not thinking at the moment. And I put it through again. I'm starting to need to put pressure on it again to put through the wood. And what it's doing, it's actually grabbing the blade and that. So the way to deal with this is stop your saw, pull the wood back a little touch, and then get a screwdriver or something, which you'll see me do now. Just open the back part up a little bit, put a wedge in there, like so. Put the wedge in there, that opens the back part up and it'll stop the wood grabbing on the blade. And as you'll see now, it goes through quite easily. But don't try and force it through like I was at first, guys. It took me a while for my brain to switch on there for some reason. Here I'm just giving it a quick plane off so I don't have to do too much sanding. I'm only using the jointer here to smooth out the sides, so I'm not trying to get them square because it's square enough just to take the rough edges off, that's all. Okay, I want to round off all of the sides here, so just going to run it through, flip it over, run it through, flip it over, do the two edges, and we want to do this with all 8 pieces. Another quick sand, guys, my favourite part of the job, and once that's done, give it a quick varnish and then we'll start putting it together. Just using a bit of teak oil here, guys, and a sponge brush, them cheap packs of brushes that you get, just made a sponge. Just using a bit of teak oil to varnish up here, guys. Cheap pack of sponge brushes, you know, throwaway jobs. Once you've varnished all the sides like this, give it a wipe off with a cloth, wipe the excess away, gives it a better finish. Then let the sides dry, and once the sides are dry, we're going to do the insides. Okay, the sides are now dry, we're doing the inside, and the reason I let the sides dry, the outside dry first, is because once I've done the inside, by just moving it around a bit like that, letting it get the bottom, and then brushing it up the sides, and then I knew the outside wanted a little bit more another coat sort of thing of varnish, so what I did is I actually used a bit of the excess that was inside to do the outsides. You'll see what I mean in a second or two. And then once you've completed all that, give the whole thing a wipe down with a cloth to remove the excess, and it'll give it a decent finish. Okay, time for the fun part, guys. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to measure in 4¼ inches on each piece of wood, so that each piece has got 4¼ inches sticking out, and then I'm going to just put a little clamp on it to hold it while I do the other side. And then what I'm going to do then is I'm going to put a brad nail in the centre of each corner, just the one brad nail for now, for the time being, and then we'll sort the rest of it out. Okay guys, the red corner pieces that you can see I've got clamped on there, don't use them, they were a waste of time on this project. They are great for other stuff, but just not for this. The best way to go about doing this is just measure the 4¼ inches, sorry. Measure the 4¼ inches as you can see me doing, hold it down, stick a brad nail in the centre, move on to the next side. Do the same thing, measure in 4¼ inches on both sides, hold it down and put a brad nail in the centre. You don't need to use clamps or anything at this point, just do it the way I've just said. If you got any questions about this section, just leave a comment in the bottom and I'll get back to you on it. Okay, that's our first square done. Now let's start the inner square. The way I done this one, guys, is I cut a few little spaces, and the spaces that I used is 1¼ inches. So these little spaces that I've made are all 1¼ inches. Just basically put them between the square that you've made, line the bottoms up, and stick a brad nail in, as you can see. Again, just use the one brad nail for the time being. And once we've got it all together and everything looks good, we'll put about four or five brad nails in each piece, in each corner. Sorry. Okay, this is just to show you what it could look like as a square if you wanted to make it like that, but we're not doing it this way, we're doing it as a diamond. So what we're doing here is we're going to measure into the center of the box, and then we're going to measure 1.5 inches down, and we're going to put our first hole, and then we're going to put a second hole just underneath the first hole, so that we've got 2 screws holding the box onto the framework. Now during this section I basically just drilled the 2 holes from the outside, and I wanted to countersink the inside so that the head would sit flush with the inside. So I used a right angle drill attachment, and this comes in so useful. I use it that many times, it's unbelievable. If you're interested in that, I'll leave a link in the description where you can go and get one. Well worth getting. Now the way I'm doing these guys is the center of the box. I'm just matching it up with where the boards actually cross each other, so that the center is centered with the joint there, if you understand what I mean. And then I'm going to screw it up there. Hope you understand what I'm saying.